Coming up,
Is this even, like, real?
man's best friend and a beachgoer's wounded manhood.
I've seen a lot of weird injuries, but that's the worst.
A desperate call for help.
Hang on. Come on, I'm coming.
Death, barely conscious and alone.
She was like shaking like she was really rigid.
The most confronting emergency of summer.
Take me back to the sweet times, the happy nights. Everything is gonna be alright in the summertime. Baby, in the summertime, that is where I'll be.
They come in all shapes and sizes. Some blow up, others are made of rubber. No matter what, they are not safety devices.
What's that thing? Axor safety.
Lifeguards see a constant procession of beachgoers getting into strife with cheap toys. Rain, hail or shine, lifeguards know toys in the water can cause trouble in any condition.
It was a gloomy day down at Bondi, and it was one of those days where nothing was going to happen.
Jackie there?
Are you talking about the guy that's back of the flags there, big?
Yeah. That guy to the right, there.
Yeah.
Lifeguards have identified a man caught in a rip. He's holding something in his right hand.
Frisbee Fred.
Oh, it's terrible. He's trying to do one-arm freestyle with his Frisbee.
We noticed there was a swimmer in the flags. He wasn't a strong swimmer at all, and that's why we had to go down there straight away. It was holding like a Frisbee of some sort.
Yeah, boys, maybe it might be worth going for a paddle. He's terrible. His Frisbee's going to kill him.
As I was paddling out, I kind of noticed that he let go of the Frisbee. He kind of started, getting in more difficulty.
Buddy, come here.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, generally down here at Bondi, a boogie board or a life jacket or floaties, we'll class that as a flotation device, but not a Frisbee.
The patient is Sang-Hoon Kim, a physiotherapist on holiday from Korea. It's his first time at Bondi. A cheap Frisbee could have made it his last.
End of the day, I got him back to shore, and that's a good rescue for me. I'm happy.
Safely back on land, Sang-Hoon Kim hasn't given up on his Frisbee.
All for the Frisbee, eh? Human life for his Frisbee. You all right, buddy?
I almost there.
See this here?
Yeah, thank
this
you.
costs $2.
I'll trust him.
$2? Your life is priceless.
저 죽을 뻔했어요, 씨발. 이거 하고 놀다가 안 돼가지고 좋겠다 나와야겠다 하는데 안 나와지는 거야. 발도 안 닿고. 죽었다 싶었는데 서핑하는 사람이 와서 나 구해줬어요. 나오니까.
Sang-Hoon finally appreciates the limitations of his Frisbee.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I trust him in the sea, but he almost going to kill me. So do not trust him in the sea. It's just in ground. It's just through it, okay? Like this. Just go through it.
All day, every day, lifeguards watch and wait. Because in a split second, everything can change.
When a member of the public sprints up to the tower, it always sets off alarm bells.
What? Fish. Harry's there, someone having a fit down there. Boys just rushed down there, so they'll give us an update when they're ready.
Two members of the public go to the woman's aid until lifeguards arrive.
She's not really conscious, but she's definitely
She's got a strong
She's got a pulse.
So we've got her in recovery at the moment. We'll just get an airboat down here.
So what was she doing when you saw her?
She was like shaking, like she was really rigid.
Convulsing, yeah.
Yeah. And she was like really biting down on her teeth. Yeah.
Hello, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Can you hear us? You're at Bondi Beach on the sand. You're with the lifeguards. Is it your friend or mum?
No one's with her.
With no friends or family present, lifeguards can't know if the woman has a pre-existing condition.
I've radioed the tower and requested an ambulance because we need the paramedics down here to establish what's happened. She's got nothing really in her bag. No possessions, really, just a water bottle.
Yeah, okay, copy. Yeah, call me, Daniel. I've got a lady in approximately 40 to 50 years old down on the beach. She's having some sort of a fit.
The fit can be an epileptic fit. She could be having a stroke, some sort of brain aneurysm.
Can you open your eyes for me? If you can hear me, please open your eyes.
Hello, you're right.
It's all right, sweetheart.
Take it
It's
easy.
all right. It's a lifeguard.
It's fine.
It's totally fine. It's all right.
You're relaxed. When she came around, the next step was to find out what had happened. Can you hear us? And then we sort of realised that she was motioning to her ears, and we figured out she's deaf.
Oh, yeah.
I changed things massively because we can't communicate with her. None of us know sign language.
Unable to communicate with the woman, lifeguards are in the dark about her condition. Then, Harry's realises it's not the first time he's seen her.
It's all right, you're right, you're right.
Is she the deaf lady? I think it might be the deaf lady.
mate.
That is a deaf lady, yeah.
About a year ago, I actually have dealt with the same lady having a fit down on the beach on a jam-packed day.
Is any relatives or anything with her? No.
Yeah, at this stage, she's still like deep in a sleep. She's breathing fine. Pulse is 76.
Where's the ambulance?
Today, the woman was found in the very same spot on the beach.
It doesn't surprise me that it could happen 2 years later with the same lifeguard, but it is a pretty, it's a pretty crazy coincidence.
Last time, the woman refused help. Now, lifeguards are worried the same thing might happen. A deaf woman has had a seizure in the middle of Bondi Beach.
Can you please try to squeeze my hand for me?
It's the second time in 2 years.
Hello, darling. Can you hear me?
Last time, the woman refused help. Lifeguards are concerned the same thing might happen again.
Today, it felt like when she actually woke up and she seen me, she actually knew that I was the one that was caring for her last time. She doesn't want anyone around her, and I feel her pain. When the paramedics arrived, she actually got more agitated.
It's just some oxygen, okay?
She just didn't want anything to do with them, and obviously didn't want anything to do with us.
We want to do your blood sugar.
The main thing that we were trying to communicate was that the ambos needed to take her to get checked out. That's their obligation.
Lifeguards and paramedics face a difficult situation. They can't leave her on her own.
Okay, it's all right. It's all right.
But no one wants to force her into the ambulance.
Troy's method of paper and pen helped us to get that message across to her. We worked out that she did not want to go to hospital.
We'll go to hospital. Hospital. You come with us. We'll check.
As limited communication breaks down, the woman heads towards the water.
Yeah, feel good? You have to stop them, You can't have a person going out into the ocean after having a fit and being hypoxic and drowning. You're doing everything you possibly can to preserve human life.
It's okay, relax. We were just like, what are we going to do now, I personally didn't want to have to get the cops involved. So we were just like, let's just get her off the beach now. Let's just do it.
The woman refuses treatment. Paramedics and lifeguards are left with no choice.
You guys got up?
No, I never questioned that we were doing the wrong thing. I knew that it was better for us to get her off the beach as quickly as possible.
The whole part of actually aiding this lady is for her survival. And when it comes to people entering the water, and especially someone that's ill or has a medical condition, it's a dead set no-no.
Paramedics did a full assessment and then drove the woman home to her family.
The lady's brother come down a couple of days after and he thanked the lifeguards for assisting her and helping her out, and, you know, to have him come down and say that, it means a lot to us.
Plenty of young men and women aspire to wear the blue uniform on Bondi Beach.
Get in there, Huss.
Last year, newcomer Harrison completed his first year as a trainee lifeguard.
We were confident that Harrison could get this guy in time, and he did.
Make sure it's safe with the flag, 600k.
This year, the training wheels are off. Harrison has graduated into the Big Kids Club.
Look at that, a real lifeguard.
And the pressure is far greater.
If I was a trainee, I had a bit of that leeway saying, oh, I didn't really know. But now being a fully fledged lifeguard, if I screw up, I'm straight into Hoppo's office. Hopefully if we work hard the next hour, it'll be an easy afternoon.
I tell you what, the ranks here, it's like a stomping ground. You always got to prove yourself.
Central to Rhino, lads.
Just want to come straight in front of the tower for us, please.
In the middle of the beach, a man struggles to stay afloat. He's running out of energy.
Yeah, boys, use her in. That guy's starting to panic.
How's it going, man?
Yeah, I'm done.
Get to my life.
Come on, buddy. Come on. Hang on.
It's a life-saving rescue.
Yeah.
But Harrison gets an unexpected response.
And it was just like the blowhole of a whale. It went, whew. This big gust of water just hit me in the face.
Get your breath back. You good? Breath back. Mate, you're right.
That guy was fully panicking by the time Hutz went there. He was jumping off the bottom, climbing the ladder. Good rescue.
From the UK, Maddie is in Australia to watch the Cricket World Cup.
So you're doing good.
Yeah, when we got Matty back to shore, he was exhausted. He had put in the hard yards to stay afloat, the poor bloke, yeah.
Harrison is worried Maddie is at risk of secondary drowning.
Did you swallow much water?
Yeah, but you're fine.
Is there water in your lungs, or?
Yeah, but a little bit.
Once they think they're on the sand, they think that's it, they're saved, but sometimes it's not that. Maybe that's just the beginning.
In Australia, to watch the cricket, Maddie almost drowned at Bondi.
Is there water in your lungs, or?
Yeah, but a little bit.
I kind of knew if Maddie had taken on a bit of water, the danger there is secondary drowning. That's the worst thing that could happen, because people could have a near drowning, go home and that night and just not wake up because of the water in the lungs. So it is very serious.
It is normal swim, like, I'm from England. If you don't get down, mate.
Hey, mate, I just want to tell you something. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give you some oxygen.
Okay.
You swallowed a bit of water, okay? How's that? Is it okay?
Water inhaled into the lungs can cause secondary drowning. Death can result minutes, sometimes days later.
So I checked his oxygen saturation level, and that was well under what it should be. Yeah, 87 oxygen. His blood oxygen content is 87%, and it should be around 98. So that's, a level for concern.
I was very scared. I've never been like that.
Hopefully, giving him oxygen, we should see an improvement. But if that does not improve, we'll be calling an ambulance.
Okay, mate, it's 100% oxygen, okay? Breathe normally. Yeah.
Oh.
Don't try to sleep, just try to stay awake.
Okay, man, thank you.
Lifeguards aren't surprised to see Maddie so exhausted.
Well, we started getting the full story of what's been happening, and turns out he hasn't slept for 5 days, the poor bloke.
So when did you come to Australia?
Last Thursday.
Okay.
I didn't sleep last 4 days. The boys got some, they've been the girls and shagging the beds.
The boys are bringing them girls, they're shagging and living upstairs. How am I supposed to sleep?
After 40 minutes of rest, Yatesy takes a final reading of Maddie's oxygen levels.
It's got a lot better.
Here at Bondi, especially in the summer when you do, days do a lot of rescues, you hardly get a thank you. It's quite nice to get a thank you, but for this guy to come back again, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you've, had a good day at work.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Cheers, guys.
I think Harrison's the type of bloke that would walk into any workplace and be happy. He has a future here as a lifeguard. Dare say he'd probably be my boss one day.
Every season, something happens at Bondi beyond the imagination of every lifeguard.
So you get your traditional things down here at Bondi, but sometimes you get the things that are just out there that you think would never, ever happen.
Whether it's the bomb that washed up on the shore.
Oh my God.
The car that drove onto the sand.
That is insane.
16 years, mate, I've never seen anything like it.
There's always something out of the ordinary.
I love the times I just give up, throw my hands up and go, wow, that's it, that's me done. I can't, I've seen it all.
Team dudes.
Then the next day there's something else.
Paramedics are responding to a routine incident when H bursts in. The man with him believes life, as he knows it, may be over.
There you go, mate. Yeah, I've been by the dog on it.
Local resident Paul has come to the tower with an injury no lifeguard has ever seen before.
There you go, mate. Yeah, I've been bitten by the dog on it. Oh, really? Yeah, no, you're right. That's pretty bad.
I saw this guy come shuffling towards me, and the next minute he's just gone, I've just been bitten on the beep, beep, beep by a dog.
Imagine his poor girlfriend or poor wife. She won't be getting any love for a bit.
That's the worst thing that could ever happen to a man.
How? Why? What was going on?
He was very lucky that there was intensive care paramedics that are already in the tower that had just treated a patient, and they said it was the most horrific thing that they've ever seen.
There was no blood. He wasn't that much in pain, so there's only one thing I can think of. He would have been in shock.
I've seen a lot of weird injuries, but that's the worst.
To avoid any confusion, the paramedic clarifies how serious the injury is. The dog has torn the skin from the base down to the tip.
Do you know who owns the dog?
Yeah, he's my mate's dog. It was an accident.
I don't know if I could really describe what I saw, but it wasn't bleeding at all, so that's probably lucky, but I would hate to see that ever again.
Have you ever had any of this before? Not quite like that.
Imagine it never returned to working order again. You'd be heartbroken.
Paul's mate doesn't help the situation.
I just hope you can fix it.
I'll say how to fix it. Yeah, fix it easy. Just you're not waiting to have a sex for a while. I'll tell you that right now.
As long as I can have it one day again.
Oh, it's bad, mate. Dog biting on the cup.
There's a lot of Chinese whispers of how it really did happen. I heard it was a Chihuahua.
Could have been a Labradoodle.
I reckon it was a female for sure.
Paramedics arrive to take Paul to hospital. No one misses out on inspecting the injury themselves.
I've seen the pictures of the aftermath and after surgery, and he's bloody brave, that's for sure.
Weeks after a dog bit him in a very private place, local resident Paul has returned to reveal all.
Hey, mate.
It
must have been a scary day.
Oh, it was. I was freaking out.
Is this the dog?
Yeah. He didn't mean no harm. It was an accident.
So what's the go? What happened? Because
I took Zeus for a swim. As I went to dive over him, he must have thought there was a ball there, and he's jumped up and nipped me. And I didn't want to look in the water, so I swam back in, and I've looked and I've freaked out a bit. Luckily, there was an ambulance here and you guys helped me out, so...
Yeah. So how many stitches did you end up getting?
Oh, it was about 100, around the 100 mark, so yeah.
Such a mellow dog.
Yeah, like I said, it was an accident. He's a good boy, you know.
Lifeguards are given an opportunity to inspect the repair work performed by doctors.
They've done a good job, but I give it to the doctors.
Yeah.
They fixed you up good, mate.
Vince's Hospital.
Can't even really notice it.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Paul is thankful it wasn't worse, and the doctors have restored everything to its former glory. Next time on Bondi Rescue.
Pick up your bottles.
H-Man takes out the trash.
Get the bottles off the beach and
I'm
get
picking
going.
them up. I can't do nothing for you.
The race to find the next great rescue device.
Go, 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 go.
But is it faster than a jet ski?
Oh, shit.
And Harry's caught between rocks and a hard place.
Jump into the water.